Ricken Financial presents Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you reach the retirement you deserve. Let's build a strategy that gives you confidence while meeting your financial wants and needs. Meet the team at rickenfinancial.com. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens.
And welcome out to Kick In with the Rickens, redefining retirement. 314-970-4881, Ricken Financial to meet the team. Heidi, Gerry, how y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Great. How are you today, Mark?
I just want to jump right into it. I want you to just break it down for me. Talk to me like I'm a first-timer giving Ricken Financial a call, 314-970-4881. What happens after that phone call?
The first person you're going to be talking to at our office is our office manager, Kirsten. She keeps us on our toes, so she has, a lot of weight to carry around here at this office. She is the keeper of the calendar, and she's really great on the phone. She's very welcoming. She'll make sure that she covers all the bases with you about where we're located, what time works best on your schedule, and she'll put some time on the calendar to meet with Gerry and myself. We are a team, and we like to meet together as often as we can with all of the prospects and clients that come through these doors.
We believe it's very important for both of us in the meeting because we like to get to know you, and we want you to get to know us because you've heard us, but we haven't heard you, and we haven't met. So we like to put a personal touch and make sure that we are in each meeting together with you.
Since we kind of have a different outlook on everything, too, we want to make sure that we can put our minds together every time we meet with our prospects and clients.
We are conveniently located at 425 North New Ballas Road in Suite 207 in Creve Coeur, Missouri.
On one side of us is the Creve Coeur Post Office, and on the other side is a strip mall that has a bread co in it.
I got the consultation set. Next question, who am I going to meet with in that initial meeting?
You definitely will meet with the two of us and no one else because we believe it's very, very important for you to meet with us because you've heard us, you know us, you feel like you know us, but we really want you to know who we really are, and we want to find out who you are so we can be of service.
What do I need to prepare for in that initial consultation?
So the first thing you do is you come in, Kirsten will meet you, and when Kirsten meets you, she'll ask you what you'd like to drink. And Heidi, why don't you go over our menu?
We have all sorts of stuff to drink here. Cold water, room temp water if you're one of those who has sensitive teeth, all sorts of different types of soda. And then we have an array of coffees that would put Starbucks to shame. And if you don't like coffee, we have all sorts of teas too that include caffeine and are decaffeinated as well. Kirsten actually does have a little menu she can hand your way so you can truly pinpoint and choose exactly what you want to drink when you get to meet with us.
So we're nice and well hydrated. What do I need to bring with me for this initial consultation with Ricken Financial?
We would like for you to bring as much information financially as possible. One of the things we love to focus on is saving taxation in retirement. So obviously, in order to do that, we need to understand your tax structure now and your history of taxes. So we'd like you to bring in your last 2 years of tax returns, state and federal. We don't really need to.
Not just that front page, but the actual data in that tax return, because we really like to dive deep into your tax structure.
We also like for you to bring in any statements you have which detail the investments that you're currently invested in, because we want to understand those from a holistic perspective. We want to understand your life insurance. Do you have life insurance? If you do have life insurance, please bring in your last statement. If you have any annuities, please bring in those statements. If you have long-term care insurance, please bring those statements in. As much information as we can possibly learn about you will be helpful and beneficial to the entire plan.
We like to look at everything holistically. So we ask for all of these statements, not just some people have their own balance sheet or income statement or whatnot for their family. That's great. You can bring that in if you'd like to, but we really want to dive deep into each individual holding that you have. So we look at all of those statements so we can look at it holistically together. And one thing I'll say, a lot of people aren't asked for that tax return. So sometimes they bring in their 600-page TurboTax return. If that is a company you're working with, give me a buzz. I can talk you through which pages we need, because I don't need the full 400 or so. We only need a couple pages to make sure we get this one right. But most important thing we want you to bring in are your goals and your desires for your retirement years, because we hope that you get to accomplish all the goals that you have in mind. So that might be, do you guys want to downsize or upsize or just right size your home? Do you want to have an additional home in a different area? Are there any big ins and outs in your future? Do we need to forecast for new cars for the future? Do we need to forecast for expenses for the grandkids? Do you want to help offset some of their school costs or whatnot too?
And
so
wedding
talk through
plans,
all of those.
Yeah, if you have any weddings coming up, we want to know what those are, because we know those can be expensive from personal experience.
Absolutely. As I said, we do look at everything holistically. So we're not just going to look at those statements. It's your opportunity to really talk to us quite a bit. So we'd love to have a conversation with you about what your risk looks like too. We will do a risk analysis with you when you're in our office. And we want to make sure that you two are on the same page. So if you're in a married couple, we really have a lot of conversations when you're sitting in front of us to make sure that you have a neutral third party that can help facilitate some of those conversations, and make sure that we're all on the same page. Because at the end of the day, our plans are kind of like a fingerprint. Every single person who comes to this office is going to have a different fingerprint, and it's unique to them. And we want to make sure that the plan is unique to you, but covering all your goals, wants, and desires for your financial future.
We also want to know about your concerns. And a lot of people there's a fear of the unknown. When they walk through the door, they're not sure if they're going to be able to retire because they really haven't gone through a holistic plan before. So we just want to make sure that when you come in, that there's no judgment. This is no judgment zone. We just sit and listen and absorb and ask questions, because we want to know what really makes you tick. What do you want to do in retirement? One of the first things that we do is talk about what you're going to do to occupy your time, because when you're working, hopefully work feeds your soul. So we want to make sure that when you're retired, and you're no longer going into the office and having the camaraderie of your office mates, whoever you're dealing with, if you're in sales, your customers, whoever it is, we want to make sure that what you're doing and how you're spending your time feeds your soul as well. So we have a lengthy discussion about that, because even if you're an engineer, I pick on engineers a lot because we have a lot of engineers who are clients. The engineers will critique, especially if it's the male coming home and spending all day with his wife, and they haven't done this before, they really need to find something to do besides micromanage the household, because there's a chief engineer at the household, and it may be the male or it may be the female, but you don't want someone coming in and derailing how you live your life. So we have a lot of discussions about that and what you're going to do in retirement.
Really, the key to retiring happy and stress-free is having some form of income to replace your paycheck. So if you think about this during your working years, money comes into the bank account and money gets spent. So we have a huge conversation revolving around your expenses, because we don't want you to have to drastically change your lifestyle in retirement. If you were spending the amount of money that was coming in with your paycheck, we want to be able to replace that. So one thing that's usually the hardest piece of homework that we give our prospects is, what are you spending on a monthly basis or an annual basis, whatever it may look like? So the easiest way to kind of look at that is, what is your take home now? And out of that, what are you spending versus what are you saving long-term and not touching for the future? So whatever that is that you're spending, we want to make sure we can replace that amount in your retirement. So it does take a little bit of work on that budget to see what you're actually spending on a monthly basis. A couple of those might be a big ticket item like your mortgage. We want to know when that mortgage pays off. And then we can account for, in the future, you're going to have to still pay taxes and insurance on your home. But we want to make sure, we forecast that for the future. If you retire before age 65, or if that's in mind for you, what are you spending on health insurance? Because that's a big nut to crack too in the future. But we really target everything to your particular expenses. So you need to have some form of idea about what you're spending on a monthly basis.
And when you talk about income to replace that income in retirement, we focus a lot on Social Security, because Social Security is out there for all of us. So we want that Social Security statement, but not only the statement. A few years ago, the Social Security Administration changed their format of their statement. They no longer delineate by year your earnings history. We want that specific earnings history. So you have to go online and download the earnings history specific to each year, because now they lump it into decades, and that doesn't do us any good, because Social Security is based on the highest 35 earning years of your life. So we want to make sure that we look at each one of those earning years, make sure that, first of all, that there are no gaps, no mistakes that the Social Security Administration did, because we found those before. By looking at that earnings history, we were able to have our clients go to Social Security, get that addressed by downloading their tax return and showing them the income that they actually had in that year. So we were able to fix a lot of mistakes because, let's face it, humans work in the Social Security Administration too, and humans make mistakes. So we want to make sure there are no mistakes out there. We also like to look at your pension if you're blessed to have one, and see what your options are, because survivorship options are huge in Social Security and in pensions. So we want to make sure that your survivor, whoever that is taken care of as well.
A lot of great information here about what that initial consultation looks like with Heidi, Gerry, and the team at Ricken Financial. 314-970-4881. 314-970-4881. Or it might be easier to check out rickenfinancial.com. So in that initial consultation, about how much time should we prepare to spend with you on that first meeting?
In that first meeting, we want about an hour of your time. So after you come in and meet with Kirsten and get whatever beverage you might enjoy in the time that you get to meet with us, we're going to walk over into Gerry's office. We have actually a dining room table because a lot of the important conversations in your family happen around the dining room when you're eating. So we'll be sitting at a dining room table together, and we have a big TV up on the wall next to us. We know no appointment's going to be perfect. So you might come in with about half the information we need. Perfectly fine. We just need a starting point from somewhere. And we can always build upon that because we need a good solid foundation for how we can help you plan for your future.
We've got a couple of minutes left here on this week's show, but when we sit down, Gerry, we're sitting in a conference room with you, we're putting a plan together, we're talking about our goals and our desires. Who do you want to talk more and who do you want to ask more questions? Should I ask more questions and you listen, or vice versa?
You've heard us speak, and you called us to come in and meet. So we want you to speak. We want to listen because, my mom always said, you should listen more than you talk because that's why you have two ears and one mouth, because you should be listening twice as much as you speak. So, and we believe that. We believe in listening and understanding where you're coming from, because that's the only way we can provide any good service is if we understand completely everything we need to know about what makes you tick.
And education is so important for us that when you have questions, we're here to answer all questions you might have and help educate you as best as we can so that you're, prepared for the financial future. So we're here to answer any and all questions you might have. And we might have some along the way too, but our main focus is making sure that your questions are answered.
So we walk away from that initial consultation feeling good, feeling a little more confidence about our plan, maybe a little direction. What happens now? I leave Ricken Financial. Do I get a follow-up call? Is it up to me to call you back? What happens if I walk away and I say, you know what, I'm not ready? Take me through those steps.
At the end of each of our meeting, we will walk back out from our office straight to Kirsten's desk, and she's going to set some time on the calendar for a follow-up with you if you are ready for that follow-up. We want to make sure that you come prepared with your calendar when you come to meet us, and if for some reason you're not prepared, she can always give you a call, and she's a little persistent, so don't worry. She'll make sure that she calls you until we get some time back on the calendar with the two of us, because we always want to make sure we're satisfying all of your needs when you come to see us. If the timing's not right, no big deal. We understand that that's what this is all about. The timing's got to be right for you and for us. So if you need to schedule some time 6 months out, a year out, we're going to make sure we put that on the calendar, and we're going to stay in touch with you via email and phone calls in the interim.
And the other thing that may happen during our meeting, actually what will happen during our meeting, is we will have follow-up questions and you'll have follow-up questions. We may assign you some homework. One of Heidi's favorite experiences during the last week was assigning one of her former teachers homework who became a client. So because he was always assigning her homework over the years in high school, but she got to actually assign him some homework. So that was fun. So it'll be in a follow-up as an email. We'll make sure that we send that email out to you timely, and so that you have information to prepare. If there's another, something else you need to send to us, you can send that through the secure portal. You can drop it off personally. We just don't like that information to go through email because we want it to be secure and safe so that you feel comfortable and we feel comfortable that we're the only people that you're sharing that with.
And after that first consultation, you're not required to become a client.
That's correct.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
correct. You make all the decisions. We provide the information. It really happens in 3 sequential steps. The first one is exploring if we're a good fit. Are we a good fit? Mm-hmm. If we decide we're a good fit, you have that all that information to us. We design our first draft of a plan. Okay. Then the second consultation after, you set that up with Kirsten, you come in the second time. And the second time is, okay, here's what we understand. We put it up on the big screen. Here's what we understand your financial life to be right now. And we forecast that through age 100 for both of you. And what we do is we want to understand.
And in that second meeting, what we're also going to be doing is taking a look at that risk analysis that you did with us in the first meeting and deep diving into your investments and those statements that you provided to us too in the first meeting to make sure that your risk and your investing strategy match. So we'll be going over that with you as well in that second meeting.
And we'll make some tweaks after that second meeting on the plan, just after we understand everything that we have. That we've initially gathered. We want to make sure that we have a solid foundation, because you can't build a good structure if your foundation is not solid. So we want to make sure we have a good, solid foundation to build upon. Then we ask for your permission. We identify issues and we ask for your permission to help solve those. And you give us that permission. We will put our heads together, come up with a strategic plan. We'll present that plan in your third session after you meet with Kirsten. After our second session, you'll put another appointment on the books. And in that third session, that'll be when we show you how we can streamline your retirement life. And the other thing that we need to reiterate too is this entire process is complimentary. We do not charge you a nickel for going through this process. We want to look under the hood, put a whole plan together, let you know what it is, and you make all the decisions in the end.
The team at Ricken Financial, they're going to be transparent with you from the beginning. But it all begins with a phone call to 314-970-4881. Again, 314-970-4881 or rickenfinancial.com. Gerry, Heidi, thank you for the information and the education this weekend about that first appointment with the team at Ricken Financial.
Absolutely.
Pleasure,
thank you so much for your time, Mark.
And we appreciate you listening to Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement. Subscribe, like, tell a friend. We're here every week for you. And again, if you need any more information, 314-970-4881 or rickenfinancial.com. This has been Kickin' with the Rickens with Gerry and Heidi Ricken.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial, LLC. Ricken Financial, LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial, LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial, LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial, LLC.